and we will explain about second language acquisition. Check it out.
Okay, I will explain about learning a first language. First language learning is the main point of learning language because it is be learned from childhood. It is the most affecting from human development. If the first language is good, it will be good until the old. But if the first language is not good, it will be happen until the old also. Now, there are some steps for learning first language. The first is babbling. Babbling is the first step of learning language. There are for about 6 months age. Parents use this method to keep first language for them child. It is like make a little socks. Babbling commonly consists of consonant and vowel sequence. For example, ba ba ba, ma ma ma. It can take for words that learned by child. For example, ma ma ma, it means that mother. So, child can think that they can call their mother by mama. And the second is words. Words in early child language is affected. It can refer to object. And for example, ma for mother. Children can think that they can call their mothers by mama. And it can happen for about 9 to 12 month age. And the third is sound and pronunciation. After children can get their words, they will get the pronunciation of the words that as they can. For example, fish for fish, you for you, need for need, etc. And the fourth is syntax. After the child has marked the language, automatically they learn about organism of the word. In this stage, they can spell the sentence with the correct organization. And the fifth is morphology. Morphology is the clearly stage for children. In this stage, children can arrange sentence better, and they can use some difficult words, and they will more speaking actually with the correct sentence grammar. The role of first language. The first language is the major of causes learners problems with the new language. Controversies of the role in second language and the first language have resulted from vague and varying use of the term interface and transfers. Despite a long history of assumption to the contrary, recent research results suggest that the major impact the first language has on second language acquisition may have to do with action, not with grammar or syntax. And then the constructive analysis hypothesis. This method is giving more positive ways which to understanding the theory's role of the first language in second language acquisition, which shaped so much early linguistic research and which therefore underlay much current L2. And then on the term interface and transfer. Interface and transfer. Interface consists of two linguistics. There are psychological and sociolinguistic. Psychological is interface that refers to influence of old habits, when new ones are being learned. And sociolinguistic is an interface that refers to language interaction, such as linguistic borrowing and language switching. Okay, thank you.
Now, learn about individual differences second language. Why the progress some second language learner is different? Maybe there is slow or rapid. The reason probably they have different personalities and style. A researcher can find out individual differences in second language by giving questionnaire to children. From this point, researcher can find out the level of children intelligence because basically the level of intelligence of children is different. The example questionnaire, when you first try to learn the language, and the differences that one can explore are intelligence, aptitude, motivation, learning style, personality, identity in the group affiliation, intelligence. A researcher can find out children intelligence of researching and comparing the answer to the result of questionnaire of all children from the level of intelligence. And language aptitude can be successful when we have motivation. Motivation have four types. And the first is instrumental motivation, interrogative motivation, and resultative motivation, and intrinsic motivation. Learning style. Language learning style refer to cognitive variation. In learning a second language, it is about an individual preferred way of processing, conceptualizing, organizing, and recalling information related to language learning. These styles are of two types: file independent or left brain dominance, and file dependent or right brain dominant. And personality. There are two personality. First, risk-taking and anxiety. Risk-taking is the ability to make intelligent guesses, and there are two risk-taking about in the classroom, a bad grade in the course, a fail on the exam, a punishment or embrace. And outside classroom is fear of the frustration. And in the next is individual and classroom motivation. Each student has different abilities. In this case, the teacher must be able to provide interaction that are in accordance with what is needed by students in the second language learning process. And the last, age and second language learning. Age determine how easy and difficult student understands second language learning. In this case, the order is normally more difficult to understand learning than the younger, especially in terms of pronunciation in the learning the second language. Thank you.
Lesson. The first is identifying errors. The second, describing errors. The third, explaining errors. And the last, error evaluation. First, identifying errors. In solving problems, the first thing we have to do is find out what our mistakes are or where we are wrong or we do wrong in our lesson. And the second, describing errors. After we identifying the lesson, we should describe the errors. why the error is wrong and why the lesson is error. And the third, explaining errors. After two describing and identifying error, the learner should do and explain about why the error can be happen and how it can be predict in the each time. And last, error evaluation. After we do all of these elements, we do evaluation for repairing our errors. That's all for me about the nature of learner language. I think enough, and if I do many mistakes in my word or my doing this or my explanation about this lesson is unclear, I'm sorry. And the last for me, Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening. Before we going to study about our lesson today, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Luken Adi Bagaskara. You can call me Luken. I'm a student of English department. Especially, I sit in the 5th semester. So this is project for the middle test of SLA. Okay. Today I talk about the nature of learner language. Second language is not our original language. That's why there is common mistakes usually done by the learners when they learn the second language. Here they consider each of the areas term. Okay, first talk about errors and error analysis. It is recommended for students who learns about the second language to correct error in the lesson. The first is identifying errors. The second, describing errors. The third, explaining errors. And the last, error evaluation. First, identifying errors. In solving problems, the first thing we have to do is find out what our mistakes are or where we are wrong or we do wrong in our lesson. And the second, describing errors. After we identifying the lesson, we should describe the errors. Why the error is wrong and why the lesson is error. And the third, explaining errors. After describing and identifying error, the learner should do and explain about why the error can be happen and how it can be predict in the each time. And last, error evaluation. After we do all of these elements, we do evaluation for repairing our errors. That's all for me about the nature of learner language. I think enough, and if I do many mistakes in my word or my doing this or my explanation about this lesson is unclear, I'm sorry. And the last for me, Allahumma fiqilat monitoring. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We're going to topic 5, that is interlanguage. The concept of interlanguage consists of one of the first attempt to explain second language acquisition by answering questions such as what is the nature of linguistics representation of the second language that learners form. That is, the question will be answered from the theory. The first theory is from behaviorist learning theory. From this theory, the language learning implicate habit formation, which habit formation become the stimulus response connection. The nature of the linguistics representation of the second language that learners form is when the learning took place when learners had the opportunity to practice making the correct response to a given stimulus. When the learner imitate models of correct language and receive positive reinforcement if they were correct and negative reinforcement if they incorrect. And the second theory is from a mentalist theory of language learning. According to this theory, only human beings are capable of learning language. Then the human mind is equipped with a faculty for learning language. Then this faculty is the primary determinant of language acquisition, and the input is needed, but only the trigger, the operation of the language acquisition device. The draft of interlanguage contained directly on this mentalist of first language acquisition. Interlanguage itself is a unique linguistics system which have some conceptual ideas that follow the premise about second language acquisition, and it offers a general account of how the second language acquisition takes place. Interlanguage system is also homogeneous and that variability reflect the mistakes learners make when they try to use their ability to communicate. The interlanguage concept signifies that function of human mind is similar to a computer. A computational model of second language acquisition has two stages such as intake, and then it stored in the long-range memory as second language, then construct the second language and produce the second language by spoken and written output. Social aspect of interlanguage. there are three different approaches to incorporating a social aspect of second language acquisition, such as interlanguage as a stylistic continuum, the acculturation model of second language acquisition, and the social identify investment in second language learning. And then in the interlanguage as a stylistic continuum, there are two styles, such as careful styles, which is evident when learners consciously attending to their choice of linguistics forms, as when they feel the need to be correct. Another style is vernacular style, which evident when learners are making spontaneous choices of linguistics form, as is likely in free conversation. And then the acculturation model of second language acquisition, which is very influential, and it is built around the metaphor of distance. It is very taking risks section of second language acquisition, because there are some reasons that may make the acculturation failed. The social distance is a main reason for learners failing to acculturate the second language acquisition. But there is also psychological distance, which becomes important and identities further set of psychological factors. And then the third is social identity and investment in second language learning. The notion of social identity is central to the theory bears advance. Language learners have complex social identities that shapes social cultures. That shape social structure. And then the successful of language learning is when the learners are able to construct and identity, and they become the subject of the discourse. The requires investment, something learner will only make if they believe their efforts will give them access to the knowledge and modes of thought that will enable them to function successfully in a variety of social contexts. In discourse aspects of interlanguage, there are two rather different schools, such as acquiring discourse rules and the rule of input and interaction in second language acquisition. In this step, we have to examine an amount of ways in which discourse might contribute to second language acquisition. The several ways are modified input that comes in foreigner talk. The input learners obtain from the negotiation, meaning the scaffolding and the comprehensible output. In the various positions we have examined, we find a rich array of metaphors on offer. Thank you.
Let's begin with the topic 6, observing, learning, and teaching in second language classroom. Each student has their own ability in the language learning, but the student also should be introduced to the second language learning that directly influenced by their own nature language. So there are several ways to do learning and teaching in learning language. The first one is natural and instructional settings. It means the student should understand and clearly understand about their first language or their nature language. In order to they can easily to understand their second language or their target language. In this case, the teacher should give the instruction to the students to do or to doing some exercise that can improve their second language. For the second one is the natural acquisition settings. For the second one is natural acquisition settings. It means it will be different if students learn about the second language or the target language in the classroom or outside of classroom. It will be better if students learn about their second language in the out of classroom that touch about with the real situation of second language environment. For the third one is communicative instructional settings. It means when the students learning about the second language in the classroom, the teacher should give the communicative task or communicative assignment. It means the teacher can give some exercise or some question in order to make the students can improve their ability in the second language learning. The next one is observation schemes. It means the students after they learn about interlanguage and also their second language, they also have to do an observe. It means they should find their mistakes and also they have to find how to solve their problems in second language in order to they can minimize the mistakes in the learning second language. Okay, the last one is classroom comparison. It means the student make a comparison with the teacher when the students in the first meeting and then the students in the last meeting, how effective they have studied about the second language. Now let's begin with the topic 7, second language learning in classroom. This topic tells about how the teacher bring up their classroom. Every teacher should prepare well about the materials, method, time, place, and also the first one, get it right from the beginning. It means the teacher should prepare well about the time, place, and also the instruction. They also have to prepare well about the materials that will be shared in the classroom. The second one says listen and read. It means this learning input the coherence of learning between listening and after that read the materials. The third one, let's talk. This part is the opportunity for the learners to speak up with their second language. This method is meaningful to develop the students' ability, especially in the speakings, and also to improve their vocabulary. The fourth, or the next one, is get 2 for 1. When the teacher gives an instruction, teacher should give a multiple instruction. It means by one instruction, the teacher can get some feedback. Also, the teacher can get some cut. For the next one is get 2 for 1. It means when teacher give an instruction, the teacher should give a multiple instruction. It means by one instruction, the teacher can know about the student's ability, more about the student's ability. It can be from their speaking, listening, reading, and writing. By one instructions. For the next one is teach what is teachable. It means the teacher should give as well as possible. The next one is teach what is teachable. It means the teacher should give as well as possible teaching learning about second language acquisition. It is not only about the knowledge, it can be about attitude or etc. But it should be relevant with the grade of the learner. The last one is get it right. In the end, the learning process should be grateful, meaningful, and also effective in the end of learning process. Means the students get the meaningful learning about second language acquisition. That's all from us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.